Well, if there's one thing we can say about today, there's definitely more green on the screens than we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we saw a lot of the markets dominated by red. There was a lot of uncertainty about the US and the fiscal issues that they're facing there. Today, the market seems to have shrugged that off. Germany, Italy, France, they're all in the green. FTSE's flat, and US futures are steady looking forward. This wrap up will give us an idea of some of the things that we found interesting on the market today, and we'll unpack some of the scenes that we've kind of caught our eye. We touched on construction stocks yesterday, and we're going to say it again. The sector seems to be nervous at the moment. We've seen further sales at Group 5, where the CEO and one of the other directors have sold another 1.2 million rands worth of shares. Esau Frankie, which is one of the small cap players that has been quite interesting and has been doing some interesting smaller deals, has recently announced they're going to sell their core construction assets for about 500 million. There seems to be some talk from that professional asset managers that the construction sector may be offering value. We don't buy it. There's a lot of the insiders who seem to be bailing out on it. If you are interested in the construction sector, the one that does jump out at the moment, and they've put out a trading update today, is Calgro M3. They've again said headline earnings are going to come in up on the previous year. And interestingly, they talk about a 10 billion rand pipeline over the next 5 years. That's a lot of money in the low income housing space. And I think that this is still a growth business, even though the shares run hard. The deal I like the most is the one that was announced by Brait today. Subsidiary Premier Group is looking to take a 100% stake in the consumer goods group LGL, which is owned by a private equity group. Brait's interesting, and it's actually the biggest component of my own personal portfolio because it's one of those businesses which has changed from a traditional investment holding company of manager of third-party assets to a manager of its own assets. They've done an interesting deal a while back where they bought Iceland Foods, which gave it access to the UK and European markets. This deal gives them further access not only to Africa and South Africa, but further access into the UK market as well. I think that if you're looking for a growth business that gives you both local and international exposure, Brait is one of those ones that you can kind of buy a few shares and stick in the bottom of your stock drawer. That brings us to the market movers of the day. The big mover on the day is Firestone Energy, but a share that's moved from 6 cents to 7 cents doesn't really capture that much imagination. Two small caps we like, and we've been talking about them for a while now, are in Bali Beauty, which is up to 25 cents today, which is up nearly 10%. And then there is the small cap engineering player Ansys, which is also up to 35 cents. Ansys is interesting in that going back a month, this share was trading at 20 cents. It gives exposure to rail, defense, and other engineering assets, which are quite interesting in the current climate where there's a lot of infrastructure spend in the market. Previously, in Bali, we've talked about it a couple of times, very mixed views. In Bali, is trading on a price to earnings multiple of 40. It's got a net asset value of just 12 cents a share. We can't understand how it's gotten to 25 cents, but somebody's clearly got a bit of confidence in the business. On the loser side today, the big one is Nictus is down 35%. Shares highly illiquid, so don't pay a hell of a lot of attention to it. Construction and gold stocks are down quite significantly. Sibanye and Rand Gold on the gold side. Infrasource and Wern are down as well. Remember, if you refer to our earlier comments where we were looking at construction stocks, we're not impressed here. Yesterday we talked about Katie's. Katie's was one of the big shares that were up on the day. It was up about 15%. Today it's down 10%, and we've got a trade idea for you to think about. Put in a bid on the share at beneath R1.10 and see if you maybe get lucky. It's got a long-term turnaround prospect, and I think that this could pay off if you get your shares in nice and cheap. That's all for today. I hope you found this video useful.